This is the Dzogchen Semde Lama Jigme Gyatso of the Buddha Joy Meditation School. For multiple decades, I spent about 8 hours a day, almost every day, studying, practicing, mastering, and reverse engineering the teachings and techniques of each school of meditation, so that you would not have to. It is Obi-Wan Kenobi early Wednesday morning. Come, let us meditate like a Jedi. We'll begin with Mahayoga's union of wisdom and letting go, which is known by many names, including Tantra Mahamudra, Tokal, or leaping over pride's obstruction to omniscience, creation stage, and bringing letting go into the 4 bases of mindfulness. Let's begin with the circumstantial. Please chant with me. Oh, I forgot to set up my side monitor, or more precisely, that which functions as a side monitor. As we relax into our exhalation, all stressful circumstances or lots could look as impermanent, non-defining, and interdependent, as if they could blissfully melt into rainbow light that could delightfully absorb into this body or form. Into form all lots melt. Let us shift gears to the physical. As we relax into our exhalation, all stressful bodies or forms could feel as impermanent, non-defining, and interdependent, as if they could blissfully melt into rainbow light that could delightfully absorb into this experience of the interpersonal or speech. Into speech, all forms melt. Let us shift gears to the interpersonal. As we relax into our exhalation, all these stressful interpersonal phenomena or speech could sound as impermanent, non-defining, and interdependent, as if they could blissfully melt into rainbow light that could delightfully absorb into this mind. Into mind, all speech melts. Let us shift gears to the mental. As we relax into our exhalation, all stressful perceptions, emotions, intentions, cognitions, recollections, imaginings, or minds could seem as impermanent, non-defining, and interdependent, as if they could blissfully melt into rainbow light that could delightfully absorb into this vast empty void. What if emptiness was not a literal phenomena, but one that instead was figurative? All humans have evolved to think symbolically. Perhaps that is why in every human culture we find figures of speech. As we relax into our exhalation, all that we perceived during our previous inhalation could fleetingly feel less stressful, less permanent, less defining, and as non-graspable as a vast empty void. When I was in 4th grade, I had the good fortune to be taught that a simile is only as effective as it is relatable. Therefore, we must ask the question, what? What is a real-world example of a vast, empty void? How about the illusion of the infinite azure sky on a bright and beautiful cloudless morn, which, although could be tantalizing to the eye, is non-tangible to the hand? This emptiness is not the product of thinking or believing or visualizing. If all we do is relax into our exhalation, then emptiness will make sense viscerally and fleetingly. Into void all minds melt. Let us turn our attention now to Hatha Yoga's union of awareness and letting go. It is known by many names, such as Sutra Mahamudra, Trekcho, or slicing through the dualistic, obscuring emotions of dread and desire, and Great Completion Stage. As a preliminary practice, we could find it useful to begin by gently inviting our real or imagined subtle energies to coalesce at our crown. The most efficient way to do this is to silently and mentally recite the Lama Kyona, which translates as "Teacher, come to this crown." When we are chanting the preposition "this," I invite you to snap your thumb and index finger overhead. If you are viewing this on the TubeApp simulcast, this bronze figure represents us, the meditator, and this red figure represents either the amalgam of all those who have mastered the teachings or simply the teachings themselves. Teacher, come to this crown. Teacher, come to this crown. Teacher, come to this crown. Let us avoid the mistake of actively focusing upon either our nostrils or our breath. Doing so could so exhaust our medial prefrontal cortex just behind our forehead that we trigger our amygdala at the bottom of our brain, which functions as the seat of both anxiety and aggression. Instead, let us emulate an enthusiastic piano student who was so enthralled with the score and the keyboard that they merely hold the sound of the metronome in passive peripheral awareness. As we peripherally notice air enter our nostrils, let us silently and mentally recite, passively watching. During our exhalation, let us physically relax as best we can while chanting the 10-syllable mantra 3 times per breath for a total of 52 breaths. That might sound like a tall order, so we'll start small. To count our first 12 mantras over the span of 4 breaths. Every time we utter the syllable Om, let us advance our right thumb across the sets of creases found upon the underside of our fingers. We could begin at the lower set of creases on our right little finger and continue until we reach the upper set of creases on our right index finger. Good evening, Spider Bite. Good evening, Chain. Passively watching. Om Tani Nani Nuri Sawa, Om Tani Nani Nuri Sawa, Om Tani Nani Nuri Sawa. Passively watching. Om Tani Nani Nuri Sawa, Om Tani Nani Nuri Sawa, Om Tani Nani Nuri Sawa. Passively watching. Om Tani Nani Nuri Sawa, Om Tani Nani Nuri Sawa, Om Tani Nani Nuri Sawa. Om Tani Nani Nuri Sawa, Om Tani Nani Nuri Sawa, Om Tani Nani Nuri Sawa. Collecting 12 mantras takes about 1 minute. Therefore, if we'd like to meditate for an additional 12 minutes, it could be best to collect 12 sets of 12 mantras each. To keep track of our next upcoming set of 12, we could touch the tip of our left thumb to the lower set of creases on our left little finger, and then rest this wrist upon our left knee while returning our attention to our right hand. Om Tani Nani Nuri Sawa, Om Tani Nani Nuri Sawa, Om Tani Nani Nuri Sawa. Om Tani Nani Nuri Sawa, Om Tani Nani Nuri Sawa, Om Tani Nani Nuri Sawa. Om Tani Nani Nuri Sawa, Om Tani Nani Nuri Sawa, Om Tani Nani Nuri Sawa. Om Tani Nani Nuri Sawa, Om Tani Nani Nuri Sawa, Om Tani Nani Nuri Sawa. Having counted 12 mantras on our right hand, we now advance our left thumb on our left little finger to the next set of creases. And now that you get the basic idea of how we could Count 12 sets of 12 mantras each. Let's rest each wrist upon its knee. Remember, the moment you have a specific question about the philosophies or techniques that support meditation, do not hesitate to type your question in great detail in the chat window, for I tend to check for questions about once every 13 minutes or so. Om Tare Suwa, 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 Om Tare Suwa. Om Tare Suwa, 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 Om Tare Suwa. Om Tare Suwa, Om Tare Suwa, Om Tare Suwa. Om Tare Suwa, Om Tare Suwa, Om Tare Suwa. Om Tare Suwa, Om Tare Suwa, Om Tare Suwa. Om Tare Suwa, Om Tare Suwa, Om Tare Suwa. Om Tare Suwa, Om Tare Suwa, Om Tare Suwa. Om Tare Suwa, Om Tare Suwa, Om Tare Suwa. Om Tare Suwa, Om Tare Suwa, Om Tare Suwa. Om Tare Suwa, Om Tare Suwa, Om Tare Suwa. Om Tare Suwa, Om Tare Suwa, Om Tare Suwa. Om Tare Suwa, Om Tare Suwa, Om Tare Suwa. Om Tare Suwa, Om Tare Suwa, Om Tare Suwa. Om Tare Suwa, Om Tare Suwa, Om Tare Suwa. Om Tare Suwa, Om Tare Suwa, Om Tare Suwa. Om Tare Suwa, Om Tare Suwa, Om Tare Suwa. Om Tare Suwa, Om Tare Suwa, Om Tare Suwa. Om Tare Suwa, Om Tare Suwa, Om Tare Suwa. Tani du nani du re so wa. Om 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 da-de-do-da-de-do-de-so-wa, Om da-de-do-da-de-do-de-so-wa. Let me check the time and check over on the clock app. And now let's check over the Tube app. So Spider Bite 1 wrote, thank you, Lama Jigme. Question. Lately, let me just make this a little easier for everybody. I'm going to tap button 8. There we go. Question. Lately, when I close my eyes and concentrate on my breathing, or especially if I put my focus on my forehead, I feel much pressure on my head and forehead particularly. Why so, please? Excellent, excellent question. Or, as J. Montgomery Burns would say, excellent. So, your body is showing you something. That when we actively focus on part of our body, it is physiologically unsustainable. So let us pretend there's yang and yin. Yang says, I'm going to actively focus. Yin says, I'm going to passively notice whatever I'm shown. I could be shown a sight, a sound, a sensation, a flavor, a scent. I could be shown an emotion, an intention, a thought, a memory, or an imagining. Patriarchy, or yang, says, I'm going to pretend I'm the producer. I'm not, actually, think of it this way. Meditation is like going to a theater. And patriarchy, or yang, says, I'm the producer, I'm the director, I'm the playwright. Yin goes to the exact same theater and says, I'm just some schmo in the audience watching the antics of thespians on the stage. And the thespians here are a metaphor for that which we could notice as we sit in meditation. We could notice all manner of phenomena, from the external to the internal, from the physical to the mental, from the pleasurable to the painful, from the interesting to the boring, from the convenient to the arduous, from the glorious to the grotesque. There is this ugly, ugly myth that patriarchy teaches us, that we have to change what we experience. But matriarchy reminds us that simply by sitting and breathing and watching and resting, we can master the Buddha's Eightfold Path in as little as a week. This infuriates patriarchy. This delights matriarchy. If you have any more questions or require greater clarification, I'm happy to answer your questions for you. So I'm going to tap button 4. Let's shift gears. We're going to shift gears to Ana-yoga's union of bliss and letting go, which is known by many names, such as Bindu Mahamudra, completion stage, and Tikle's channels, winds, and drops. A useful preliminary practice is for us to gently invite our real or imagined subtle energies to coalesce in our chest. The easiest way to do that is to chant the Lama Naljor, which could translate concisely as teacher blend with this mind. So the bronze represents us, the meditator, and that which is red represents either the teacher or the teachings, the amalgam of all who have mastered the teachings or simply the teachings themselves. This is not a call to actively visualize or believe or disbelieve. We are simply playing with words in an effort to gently work with our real or imagined energy in a way that facilitates the next mantra meditation we're going to play with. Together. Teacher, blend with this mind. Teacher, blend with this mind. Teacher, blend with this mind. Okay, so having done this, I'm going to answer another question, and then we're going to play with mantra meditation. So let's go to button 8. Okay, fantastic analogy. Thank you. So will the patriarchy settle down? So here's a funny thing. Just as Jesus said, in my Father's house there are many rooms, likewise, in our central nervous system, there are many regions. The region of the prefrontal cortex, the medial and dorsolateral prefrontal cortex, as well as the amygdala, is patriarchy. But it's useful. I mean, if you're in a life or death situation, if you got to protect your neighbor's kids from a rampaging bear and you're putting yourself between them, your survival mechanism is going to line up, and that's a useful thing. But 9 times out of 10, it's a destructive thing. It's kind of like when we go on a freeway in a car and we get a flat. When I was a kid, and I was born in 1965, when the crust of the earth was still cooling, and when you played in the trunk of the car, you noticed the spare tire was an actual tire. However, these days, the spare tire is what they call a donut tire. I think it's since the 90s they've been giving us donut tires, which are just good enough to get us off the freeway, down the ramp, and to the very first tire shop we find. You definitely don't want to do a 3,000-mile road trip on a donut tire. Similarly, we have patriarchal survival mechanisms, which are great if we are in actual peril. But if they are turned on all the time, it's horribly not sustainable. The great elements of our matriarchy, the matriarchal aspects of our central nervous system, would be the middle bit of our spinal cord, which functions as the core of our sympathetic nervous system that helps us practice passive awareness, and both the tippy top and the very bottom of that exact same spinal cord, which function as the core of our parasympathetic nervous system. It helps us to physically relax in harmony with our exhalation to such a degree that we're able to physically and mentally release that which we noticed during the previous inhalation. Yes, the perilous retread. Now, the most efficient way for us to passively cooperate with the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system is for us to set some time aside to sit and breathe and watch and rest, about once every 12 hours or so. The more we do this, not only do we increase our awareness and our peace, but we wind up calming the anxiety and aggression of our amygdala, and we wind up spontaneously stimulating a region of our brain called the anterior cingulate gyrus, which is the seat of empathy. Now, if I was really, really sharp, what I would have done is gone over to button number 2 and used diagrams. So I'm going to use that real quick. Let's see. So, right, when we overuse our medial and dorsolateral prefrontal cortices to overfocus and overanalyze, it triggers our amygdala, the seat of anxiety and aggression. However, when we cooperate with our autonomic nervous system, not only does it calm our amygdala, but it gently stimulates our anterior cingulate gyrus, which functions as both the hub of our mirror neurons as well as the seat of empathy. So, as we sit and breathe and watch and rest, we could notice the antics of mind. We could notice crankiness. We could notice love. It's not our job to push or pull, to grab or shove. It's our job just to notice them. For the more we sit and breathe and watch and rest, the more we viscerally realize that that's a good way to put this. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever crankiness or delight we might have noticed during our previous inhalation could feel as if they were melting into the simplicity of just emotion. Emotions neither harm us nor help us, they simply are. The question is, what do we do with our perceptions or emotions or intentions or thoughts or memories or imaginings? And the answer is simple. We watch and rest in harmony with our breathing. So we don't chase peace. We don't flee anxiety. We simply remember, meditation is like sitting in a theater. We're not the playwright. We're not the director. We're just some schmo in the audience watching the antics of thespians on the stage. And so we sit and breathe and watch and rest. And we do this maybe once every 12 hours. And we still experience the full spectrum of human emotions. But we are controlled by them less and less and less. What then are we controlled by? Love's centered spontaneity. I hope that makes sense. So I'm going to tap the OBS button and drag us kicking and screaming back to button number 4. As we feel our chest swell with breath, let us silently and mentally recite passively feeling. As we exhale, let us physically relax as best we can while chanting the 10-syllable mantra 3 times per breath for a total of 52 breaths. So, Spider Bite number 1 asks a spectacular question. Could this control bipolar? Think of this as one of many tools. It has been, the mysteries of psychology and spirituality, or I should say, are best clarified when viewed through the metaphoric lens of neuroscience. Bipolar is classically described as well, let me jump back. What if there were no psychological problems, just psychological symptoms of physiological problems? A popular teaching in decades gone by was that bipolar was a symptom of a lithium deficiency. That is no longer as reputable a theory. There are some people who would say that the symptoms of bipolar are that bipolar is a symptom of a larger order problem or multiple larger order problems. I'm not sure in which country you live, but if you have access to psychologists who are well versed in neurodivergence, then, well, goodness gracious, I'm not sure how to deal with that. Let's move forward. So if you are in a country where you have access to psychologists who are well versed in neurodivergence, it would be worth your time and energy to receive an evaluation. It's inconvenient. It takes several weeks, sometimes several months, but it can explain a lot of your symptoms. The purpose of meditation, the purpose of understanding the triggers that create the symptoms of bipolar is not to fix bipolar, but to manage it. So that we still experience what we experience, but our choices and our utterances and our deeds are less and less controlled by them. We don't want to be like a Tasmanian devil in a Bugs Bunny cartoon. We want to instead be more loving and peaceful and resourceful. And so, eating a whole food vegan diet, getting a good sleep, getting exercise and fresh air and sunshine, and meditating once every 12 hours, all these things can help, but none of them is a substitute for any other. One does not substitute the other. They work as a team. Like a good carpenter has many, many tools, and they need them all to get the job done. Okay, so let's tap button 4 and now practice our second flavor of mantra meditation. Om Tani Nunani Nuni Suwa, 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 Om Tani Nunani Nuni Suwa. Getting back to the subject of bipolar disorder. Most of us don't like getting cavities, and so we floss our teeth and we brush our teeth. Flossing is not a substitute for brushing. Brushing is not a substitute for flossing. We need them both. Similarly, it's wisest to utilize all the tools at our disposal to maintain optimal health. Health for our body, health for our central nervous system, health for our mind. Om Tani Nunani Nuni Suwa, 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 Om Tani Om Dhari Dhari Dhuri Sawa. 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 Om Dari du dari du re so wa. 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 Om Dhani Du Dhani 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 Du Re So Wa. Om Dari du dari du ri 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 so wa. Om Dhani Du Nani Du Ri So Wa. Om Dhani Du Nani Du Ri So Wa. Om Dhani Du Nani Du Ri So Wa. Let us shift gears to Mahayoga's union of love and letting go, wherein we bring our neurotic needs and desires into the peaceful path of manifesting mental, interpersonal, physical, and circumstantial happiness for all beings everywhere. This is known by many names, such as Tantra Mahamudra, Tokal, or leaping over jealousy's obstruction to omniscience, creation stage, and bringing love or conventional bodhicitta into the four bases of mindfulness. Since our anterior cingulate gyrus is already wired for empathy, and since our oxytocin-oriented reward system is already wired for cooperation, let's practice mental wishing love. May each being's experience of the mental now be as peacefully wise as the mind of an octypical Buddha symbolized by a bija seed syllable. As we breathe in, let us silently and mentally recite bija wise for all minds. And again, as we exhale, let us physically relax as best we can while chanting the 10-syllable mantra 3 times per breath for a total of 4 breaths. Om Tare Du Dare Du Re So Wa. 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 Let us shift gears to the interpersonal. May each being's experience of the interpersonal now be as joyfully loving as the speech of an octypical Buddha symbolized by a mantra. Mantra love for all speech. Om Tare Du Dare Du Re So Wa. Om Tare Du Dare Du Re So Wa. Om Tare Tu Tare Tu 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 Re So Wa. Om Dani Du Dani Duri Sawa. 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 Let us shift gears to the physical. May each being's experience of the physical now be as healthy as a form of an octopical Buddha symbolized by a yidam. Yidam health for all forms. Om Tani Dani Duri Sawa. Om Tani Dani Duri Sawa. Om Tani Dani Duri Sawa. Om Dani Dani Duri Sawa. Om Dani Dani Duri Sawa. Om Dani Dani Duri Sawa. Om Tani 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 Dani Duri Sawa. Let us shift gears to the circumstantial. May each being's experience of the circumstantial now be as lavish with good fortune or boon as the lot of an octopical Buddha, symbolized by a paradise, pure land, or Vati. Vati boon for all lots. Om Tani Du Tani Duri Sawa. 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 Having sat for the better part of an hour, we might find it refreshing to practice 7 senior citizen squat thrusts after performing our chants of bodhicitta and refuge. In our compassion may we long to free all beings from the toxic tyranny of dread, desire, and delusion, metaphorically known as the 3 mental poisons. In our pragmatism may our liberation of all others be fueled by our mastery of the 3 wish-fulfilling jewels of following the Buddha's example, applying his instructions, and cooperating with his students. May we free all through the 3 jewels. May we free all through the 3 jewels. If you wish to join me for some senior citizen squat thrusts, I'm going to take a moment to swing the laptop around. Oof! You have taken your first step into a much larger world. If you feel that I have earned it, you could give this live stream a thumbs up. You could even help support this channel. For Meditate Like a Jedi is made possible thanks to the generosity of viewers just like you. In approximately 10 3/4 hours, I would very much like to return to lead today's dusk practice of Meditate Like a Jedi. And if you are as geeky as me, may the Force be with you always. Thank you, Spider Bite. Right back at you.